This is Injustice Gods Among Us. It is the original fighting game that brought in the DC universe, and just an absolute pile of characters and an interesting storyline that we'll kind of dig into once we get playing. So we are on Xbox One X, but it is actually not enhanced, so it's running in the same version that it did back in the day when it comes to resolution. We're going to play on easy because it makes me look better than I am. And we're going to jump into the action. So it's actually got like a ton of maps and content to it. You know, it's got the full range of updates. The story basically follows the demise of Superman's moral standing. He believes that criminals need to be dealt with after a certain situation with the Joker. And that sends off a series of events and conflict between the factions of Superman and the heroes that he kind of compiles, and the forces that Batman puts together. And with that, there's also a whole extra dimension that comes into the mix, and that's kind of how the story goes. Most of my background in this series is with the second game. I played quite a bit of that one because I did cover it when it actually, I think ahead of release even. So yeah, it's kind of great to come in here and be able to take a look at the initial grounds of where this series did come from. It's actually a really great fighting title. Again, a wide range of modes to play and characters to fight as, and there's the battle pass thing that adds more content too. And Joker is giving me a hard time here. There we go. Nice. So what's interesting about this series are kind of like the signature battles, and it's sort of like more of a foot and light fist kind of game in regards to the hitting and the combat, at least in my opinion there. So then we'll do these ultimate abilities, and you've got like a wagering attack too that comes into play. So aside from the story, there's also battles, which are kind of like these conflict areas. That's a different mode. Then there's also Star Labs, which you get rewards for doing these special scenario battle practices, so that's kind of cool. And then on top of that, there's lots of training and online multiplayer if you can still find a match at this point. So that's kind of neat. Generally, I thought it was a fairly well done game. I mean, it holds up quite well in terms of, like, I really like the visual style of it. I think it's really interesting. Batman. Yeah, like I said, it's a very neat set of visuals in regards to like the gritty look that it carries. I think it definitely is a bit different from its follow-up. The character models actually are very well done, very authentic, and have a much more distinct look than the second one does. I mean, I really did enjoy the second game. I think it looks fantastic. It's dark, it's intense, but there's something about the look and the aesthetics here that, you know, of their time, but still holding up quite well, and I think that's fantastic to play here. It's still a very well done game, very well rounded, that, you know, had its full range of updates to it and content, and it's still just very entertaining to play. Again, the story is interesting, I guess you could say. It's definitely a darker take on the DC universe. There are some, of course, varying dark ones too as well. Oh geez, now we're going to map transition. Oh no. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's a bit of a fall for the Catwoman there. Of course, some extra costumes, tons of things to unlock. It was a simpler time in gaming in regards to the resources you could get. And I generally just think it's a pretty well put together game. It's got some interesting content to it, a variety of modes that we've kind of gone over and already talked about. And of course, the multiplayer. If you can find people, it's kind of epic and intense. I don't normally play fighting games, though, for the online multiplayer, because other people are just way too intense. And that's really neat that they took this darker setting for DC in order to do this type of fighting game. You know, because normally I wouldn't expect them to go in this sort of direction with it. Oh, come on, Bane. He is just roided right up. And I think it's got some characters that the second game really was sort of lacking in terms of the iconic options that were present. Then we get these wager things. You get in here and you have to do the attack defense kind of thing. That was one of the other signature aspects I was mentioning. You know, just these interesting clashes that come into play. I guess this one also doesn't have the whole armor aspect to it either, which is neat. Trying to get the dumpster there. And that's one more signature aspect that I really find interesting in this one, is the fact that the environment has a play into it too. You can actually sort of bend off of it. You can actually use the environment to your advantage, bumping off of things, or, you know, smashing objects at people that are off the map, and I think that's kind of cool, because, you know, fighting games are starting to get more of those elements, but back then it really was kind of a unique aspect of play, just the integration and how, you know, you can sort of connect with everything. Ooh, get the Shazam! It's an entertaining story. It's something a little bit different. So you're using the car there as the environment. And I like the sense of scale, too, in the background. You feel these large areas of conflict that you can kind of see going on in the distance. I think it was like Gigantic Man or something, or Atom Man or something was in the background of one of them. So you're using the car there. Shazam! Yeah, it's just got that nice gritty kind of style to it, with a wide range of different fighters, some that maybe at the time people really wouldn't have heard of. Because I don't think Shazam was, like, I know a lot of people know about Shazam, but for me I didn't even really hear about the character until they were doing the movie for it. And I think that's kind of neat to go back and see, you know, Shazam being represented here, and Ares, and some of the stranger ones that aren't really quite as mainstream as the main crew in the game, right? You know, you got your Batmans, your Wonder Womans, and your Superman and stuff, but you've also got all these other side characters, and they're actually a big part of the plot. There we go. Yeah. Trying to get that going there. Oh. Jeez. That conflict here. Ugh. And the fighting styles too, everyone's got their signature abilities, but on top of that there's like a wide range of little tools they can kind of unleash along the way. And that was a fast battle. Shazam! There's also all this like DLC content, some of it being free, that adds some skin options to the characters at play. Campaign going back to that has some interesting dynamics, not only in a story sense, but also the interactions of the characters, where they set up individuals, how they connect with one another, and cross multiple times along the way, playing around with the concept of the universes within the DC side of things, which is, you know, at times fun and just maybe canonical to this area. And then they do push that a little bit further with the second game that I also suggest checking out, because that one is really quite well done in my opinion. You know, some neat different characters here. I mean, like, this is Raven here in this game. It's kind of interesting to see that being available. Down you go, Green Arrow. I think they even have like a CW outfit for Green Arrow, because that was like the new CW show, and we've already been like through the whole run of whatever that was at the time, right? It's just neat to see where that's kind of come from. Cool ultimates for each individual. Wow, did he just kind of block that? That sucks. Cool environments to battle in, cool places, just generally a well done sort of experience with some good conflict, good balanced combat, and a variety of neat characters within its roster, lending itself well to the DC universe that I'm not normally huge into, but I've started over the years due to the new movies and stuff, growing a little bit more fond of over time. Ugh. And I think it's just a pretty good game, so we'll probably just show off some more combat and stuff like that, just to kind of wrap up what this is and the showcase of it. I didn't want to show off any of the campaign, just battles.
Athena, guide me. Begin. You're no match for an Amazon.
Begin.
Love ya! This will be a blast! This will be a blast!
Harley Quinn wins.
Lighten up, will ya?
Begin.
This won't take long.
Poseidon take you!